Welcome back to TFS Plays Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Grinding. Woo! I'm Wolfang Bator.
I'm Kieran Cannon.
Oh, I am Destructo Grant.
Word. And we're still answering your hashtag TFS
Your
grinds.
burning hashtag TFS hashtag
questions here in the hashtag TFS grinds on hashtag Twitter.
Hashtag immortality.
Ryan
Word.
Hall at MaskedMan04 asks, what is one thing you want to see in Xenoverse 3? A good game.
That's too vague.
Yeah, I was gonna say a complete overhaul of like a lot of the broken mechanics.
A good game.
A way to, actually fly from the beginning in the hub world.
That'd be cool.
More races. I want
I want limits
mutant.
off for customization too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to be able to
Customize
wear
anything.
anything as anything.
Oh, good boys.
I would
You could
like.
make your skin whatever color, right? Like I could have like a blue Saiyan. Was that possible?
I think so.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could change the skin
You
color.
could
all
do
you
like a
want.
fake mutant type thing with that kind of stuff.
All right.
But I'm saying like I want to be able to wear like a human female's clothes as a male Majin.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. I'd love to wear Bulma's armored bikini as the male Majin.
Should the male Majin always be fat, or should there be like?
No, there
Super
should be a
Buu?
Super Buu looking one.
Oh, and fix the fucking Majin transformations. Although at this point, I doubt there will be a Xenoverse 3.
I foresee it happening.
I was gonna
It
say,
might, I
can't-
guess.
I don't remember how. Like, did Xenoverse 2 sell really well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
they
it did-
sold really well.
If it did, then I'm going to say that another one's coming.
Yeah, and it's getting a Switch version like this year. It's still in the public consciousness.
Because I feel like companies don't look at reviews so much as sales.
Which is fair. I mean,
Yeah.
they are a business. I don't know. There were so many problems with Xenoverse 1 that I thought would be fixed in 2, and they just weren't.
Yeah.
Because, like, oh, hey, this is a new concept. Let's...
But at the same time, like I feel like Xenoverse 2, while I don't think it improved nearly enough as it should have, I still feel like it.
Oh, it's
like,
definitely the better game.
that, and it still works as like the same thing I could have said about Xenoverse 1, which is like I feel like it works as a proof of concept. Like
Yes.
they could have fixed a lot of this and made a good game, and so I feel like that still holds true for Xenoverse 3.
I hate
But-
yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm looking at it as like a if this is a curve, like where it looks like the series is going, I feel like this is a bad direction.
Yeah.
I want to stop with the fake on MMO angle.
Give that
Stop
up.
it.
Just go ahead and quit that. I'm fine with that going away.
If you're going to pretend it's going to be online, make the online incredible.
Yeah. Not underwhelming and broken.
Would you want the same like game structure, but it being better on both ends? Like if the story mode was better and the missions were better, would you still want that structure?
I'm okay with that,
Like
yes.
the parallel
I've
quests.
actually been kind of okay with the story mode, frankly.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the story mode and I like the PQ system. I'm totally fine with that.
All right.
The story mode part I haven't had like any
So the
problems
structure
with,
is not
really.
the issue. It's the what you are doing within that structure.
It's the game. It's the gameplay and all the logistics of the gameplay loop is
Like-
really irritating.
I will pretend
The
I am,
grind.
Yeah.
I'll pretend I am, like, hey, what's up? I'm Mr. Namco Bandai. So, all right, what would Xenoverse 3 look like if it was a good game? Like,
I mean, it play very. I think the engine is better in 2, but it's still like slow in ways, and it's so
The fighting engine is flawed, and a lot of the moves are very samey.
Yeah, there's very little difference between moves, which is cool. So you can have whatever you want and not be at a detriment. I'm okay with
Yeah.
that.
But then you have some moves like the fucking Final Flash, where half of the time the hitbox isn't hitting anything.
It's really just comes down to a lot of polish in the end. Like I feel like a lot of ideas are really cool there, but the execution really falls flat. I think it has a really good premise that 3 could make feel really good.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that like at the end of the day, it comes down to the fact that if you can min-max it and break the meta, then it's just if it's going to be online and you can min-max and break the meta like that, it's not great. Like, you should be able to play around different play styles more than you can.
Well, you can. There's optimal builds, and I think that's just in any game.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tough nut to crack for almost anything.
It really is, and it sucks because I know that's difficult to work with, but
balance is hard, it turns out.
Yeah, it kind of like takes away from the fact that it's like, look, I want to be able to play my Dragon Ball Power Fantasy, but I'm relegated to these moves.
Well, and that's kind of the problem. Is it's not even so much it breaks the meta, it's you have to min-max kind of to make, like, to be able to play the game itself.
Yeah.
Like, in-game stuff is almost impossible if you don't have a bonkers attack stat.
Like, there were a lot of people being like, oh, why don't they change Puddin's moves more? Because those are the best fucking moves for her.
Yeah.
Like, we are not going to win missions without them.
Yeah. Like, the in-game missions are borderline impossible to get, like, the bonus stuff without having built your character, air quotes, properly.
Yeah.
And properly is being min-maxed and having the most efficient skills.
Yeah,
Like, I'm the kind of person that likes building well-balanced characters, but a well-balanced character in that is just bad.
I don't know. I feel like that's common in a lot of games. You have to pick, like, a few stats that you're going to do better.
Well, like, I can get if, like, that's how it's going to work in PvP. If, like, that is, like, where you have to min-max, sure. But the fact that, like, the game itself is almost unbeatable.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, I agree. The PvE shit you have to be built for.
Like, and I get that, like, means making it kind of easy in a way, but the fact that, yeah, like, to make every build work, you have to make the E that you are Ving pretty easy.
Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of problems with it, and I think it's like pretty systemic for the series, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't know if I will ever like Xenoverse.
Yeah, it's hard.
I will still play it because I enjoy the story. That is my answer.
Yeah.
It's a weird answer too. It's one of those like so bad it's good kind of loves, you know?
In a way. But I could see like the story mode branching in ways and making it way cooler. Like I would love there to be way more consequence, like for it to be like, oh man, in this timeline, Piccolo and Goku fought to the death before Raditz showed up. And
I'd like
now it's up to Z Warrior guys to
more
stop
creative
them.
liberties with it.
Yeah,
would be cool.
I'd like more what ifs, you know.
Yeah, that's the perfect chance to do it, and all of them are really lame. It's just
like, oh
here's
no,
the story, but X thing is here now.
Yeah,
But now, now Frieza is stronger. Like,
and Cooler showed up for a hot second for no reason other than we have the movies.
Yeah. Oh no, Raditz is here, but also Turles.
it's like, I don't really give a shit about that. I want it to be the people who have to deal with it are different.
I would love. Hey, we're going to the timeline where Raditz is the one who got shipped off instead. I don't know.
Aw, man, Krillin's pissed off by the good boy.
And Goku shows up as an evil person in a pod and is like, Raditz, don't
Yeah,
get
give me
it."
super alternate
go
realities.
nuts.
Don't you get it, Raditz? I am your brother. Why do you keep calling me Raditz? I'm Goku.
Because that was always like the best part of the Tenkaichi games was the what if scenarios.
And also the library of characters was just now we have all these moving parts who can do fucking whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, conceptually, Xenoverse is great. Like, you're making your own Dragon Ball Z character to go through the history or whatever. Play with that a bit more. That's all I want.
But yeah, and not locking stuff like...
Locking stupid things away like flight to halfway through the game, where, not gonna lie, maybe 20% of the people that bought it have probably already quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so here's a thought. With, we want stuff to not be so, like, locked behind customization, like, you know, having certain moves be, like, this race only or whatever.
Yeah.
At the same token, like, what should be race-specific as far as customization? Like, because you want your customization to also mean something. Like, I don't want, if I'm a Namekian, I don't want it to just be, like, basically just a box that was checked.
I did like that transformations were unique.
Okay.
I like the giant
agree with that.
Namekian. The only ones that were disappointing were the Majins. And they were horrifically disappointing.
Majin just being now I selected Kid Buu.
Yeah, now I'm Kid Buu for a bit.
Yeah, it's again you have to go into it with the mindset that you're playing essentially an MMO, and here's your class and your race, kind of. Like you pick your racial bonus. You can make any of them work, but honestly, some are just better for that one thing. I think that's okay.
I like the idea of like there being racial specific things. Like if you're a Saiyan, the lower health you are, the more damage you're going to do.
Yeah.
Or a Namekian at a certain point will start regenerating some health or something. Like they get like maybe the Namekians, if they get hit once, they get a little bit of red bar and that will start healing up.
Yeah.
Kind of like they tagged out in Marvel versus Capcom or something. Frieza race, I'm not really sure. Maybe they regenerate ki quicker. Just little things like that.
Humans are just solid all around.
Yeah, humans can get something. I don't know.
Which they did to a degree that the game does have stuff like that. Namekians, I believe, do have a regeneration thing, but I could be wrong.
I don't think they do.
The Namekians, they start regenerating, but it has to be really low health.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is dumb. I do think their regeneration should be like a constant, but just not like maybe it gets better at low health, but
I think it's just be a constant, like, you know, oh, you just took a hit, half of that you can heal back.
Okay.
If you're not hit in the next X seconds. And it, like, kind of ticks up very slowly.
Yeah.
Like, you get, like, one, or, I don't know.
So you can never get a Namekian down to 1 health.
Yeah. I mean, you can, but there are a lot of things that need fixing.
Connor Dougal, do you guys have any original weapon ideas for Bloodborne 2? I want like a tuba that turns into an axe. I want an instrument that I can play that can then become a weapon. Like give myself like tiny little buffs, kind of like the war horn in
like
Monster Hunter.
The Monster Hunter horn?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would love that.
I'm trying to think.
I also like weapons where you have like you can send out a thing. Like you have like some kind of like familiar with you, like maybe while you have this sword, you'll have like a wyvern or some familiar that attacks for some things.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
I know. I like a lot, like, Bloodborne weapons are a lot of fun. I've actually been playing through it, trying to platinum it recently. Right now, I am going through the Chalice dungeons, and the Defiled Chalice is a special sort of hell.
Yep, it's a big pain in the ass.
Let's see, if there were any sort of... I want a throwing weapon, personally. Like, a weapon that's kind of like a boomerang-ish kind of thing.
Ooh, okay.
I don't know if it would use, like, Quicksilver bullets if you use it or not. Like, that would be kind of the benefit, is, like, maybe it has, like, a shorter range than most weapons, but... Or it doesn't do, like, a lot of... It doesn't do a whole lot of damage when you're throwing it, but, you know, you throw it and it bounces back to you.
Yeah.
And then when you have it in your hand... I think it's like it should be like just like a knife or something like that. I don't know.
I think the
Pretty
DLC had a weapon like what I'm thinking, but I really liked the idea of the like whip sword. And like I think the DLC did have a power weapon that worked on the same principle. But
the beast cutter.
Was that what it was? The beast cutter?
I think so. I don't know if it was a power weapon. I never equipped it.
Because I do want something like that, but like a ranged weapon that could like basically retract into a shorter range like power hitter. So basically you have like sort of a long range but not very much power, and
Like a whip that could turn to a club or something?
Yeah, but then like retracts into like a club.
That'd be neat. I love how interesting the Bloodborne weapons are. I'm really excited to see what...
That's one thing I really appreciate about Bloodborne is, like, in regards to, like, it versus Dark Souls, it has way fewer weapons, but they are all unique.
Very different. Yeah.
And I know you can say, like, well, each of the weapons in Dark Souls does a different thing, too. It's not... Yes,
No,
but
yeah.
still, you have like 5 different giant-ass swords, you know?
Yeah, it is not to the same extent, for sure. Like, there are definitely 3 or 4, like, swords that have the exact same moveset. It's just their reaches are slightly different, or the timing between the combos is a little different, but
And their
it's still-
stat...
it is still very
one of them's better in bleed or whatever.
yeah.
To me, that makes it feel a little bit more Borderlands-y.
Which I think that's fair.
And that's fine. because I mean, like loot games like that are good, and
They totally exist for a reason and an audience.
yeah, I love Bloodborne. I really want Bloodborne 2. I don't know if it's going to happen at this point. It probably will.
I think it will happen. I just think that people were way too
Gung ho about getting it like this time.
Yeah, when people were saying like, "Oh man, do you think they're gonna mention Bloodborne 2 at E3?" Like it was one of those things where it's like, if they do, cool, but I really don't think they will.
I think that would have been like the killer app if you asked me. It's like, oh shit, there we go, they did it.
That said, I don't know if we're like in a bubble that was really head over heels for Bloodborne and would want another one. Like, if another one was announced, I don't know if it would set the internet on fire. Like,
I think it would. There a lot of people really like that game, and that I think we are of the popular opinion that Bloodborne is one of the better of the series. I see that all over the place.
Yeah, it's my personal favorite. Level design wise, enemy design wise, weapon design wise, it's all solid.
Yeah,
The worst part of it is the Chalice Dungeon.
Yeah. Chalice Dungeon does feel kind of like an afterthought. Like, it's got some cool stuff to it, but...
Alston Deargle? Sorry. Asks,
Dargle.
if you were to nuzlocke a Pokemon ROM hack, which would it be and why? I'm not like
I don't
very
know.
well versed.
I don't know enough of them. The only one I know is Uranium.
Yeah.
I know there's one called like Omicron, but I don't know anything about it.
I know there's the Dragon Ball themed one.
One that I would do that isn't like we were actually contemplating a bit ago, but it's not a ROM hack, is Vietnamese Crystal. But like the joke with that would easily
It's just it would die pretty
fade.
quickly.
Yeah. I do find a lot of those things funny,
Because
but
we barely pay attention to a lot of the dialogue as is.
yeah. Foxy Dairy at it again with another good one. This one's a brain tickler. Do zombies poop?
I think so.
I have to imagine, and I have to imagine they have no control over it.
Yeah, I
'cause they,
think they would.
Yeah, I think probably, don't grab a zombie by the legs because something's just been trickling down there since it died.
I imagine they'd be very easy to like smell coming most of the time.
Well, even in general, like, they're rotting flesh. That's a very powerful smell.
Yeah, but imagine that and shit.
And poo.
Good work, Krillin. Maybe this time neither of them will escape.
What I don't know is if zombies are quiet. Like,
Yeah, do you think they have reason? Like, because they don't have reason to breathe, so why would they moan?
yeah, like moaning would just be a byproduct of breathing.
Of course, I'm going specifically by like undead zombie scenario here.
Well, you have to.
And would their shambling make much noise? Like, that's... Like, in a quiet environment, I'm sure you'd hear them coming, but, like, in general, how stealthy are they?
I don't think they'd be stealthy at all.
See, the zombies that I find most realistic are the idea of like there being some sort of infection, probably in the vein of like The Last of Us, where it's just like a fungus that's trying to take over the human brain.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
Because those are real and they're terrifying.
Yep. I just beat Last of Us like this weekend too.
Nice. I still have to play it.
Yeah, because I know that from this point forward, it's going to be very hard to not run into
spoilers.
any trailers for 2 or anything like that. And I know that any trailer for a game like that is going to spoil the shit out of the first one.
Speaking of zombos, do you ever just think that we're walking like pool noodles? Like stuff just goes in one end and out the other, and we have tiny little walls that kind of take the rest of
trying
it.
to hold it.
But really, it's just as core data, we just have a little cord, and then another one for food. That's it.
Yep, that's all we are.
That's it.
That's you just described everything about humans, Kieran.
The nihilistic...
Think about that. I hate
Can't
that.
say I do. I can't say I think about that too often.
It's a terrifying,
never-
sobering thought.
Never said to myself, you know what? I'm just a walking pool noodle. Not a phrase I've used. Congratulations, you made me use it.
There you go.
Here's the thing, Kieran. As a heavier man, I feel like I take a lot more, like... I take and hold on
Yeah.
to the things that are passing through me.
You've got a greedy noodle, is
Yeah.
what you're telling me.
My sponge is a bit spongier.
All right, well, I feel like that's probably enough of a grind to get us to a safe space in that area. So we'll see you guys next time in TFS Plays Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Filler.